I'll be on the next flight right behind you.
You're not coming?
I'm Matt.
Alice, I met the most wonderful person in the world, and the timing's all wrong.
So what are you going to do about it?
Just finished my next movie, A Very Merry Mix-Up. We're gonna jump into the holiday jumbo. I give this movie a slay or a 4. First off, this movie is hilarious to me. Like, just how Hallmark did, like, kind of like some of the over the top scenes. Like, you know how in some movies when you're watching and the guy sees the girl and it's like the wind's blowing in her hair and she starts moving in slow motion. Hallmark did that in this movie and it's so funny. Like, Alice and Matt, they meet in this airport. Basically, Matt just turns and looks and he sees her and his jaw just drops like, and then Alice is like walking, and then the wind's blowing her hair, and then she's like moving in slow motion. And then Matt is just like, wow. So it cracked me up because it's so over the top, but it's so funny. And just like some scenes throughout, like it was just extra dramatic, extra hilarious. And so this movie, it cracks me up. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. The reason I couldn't give it a 5 is because Alice's fiance in this movie is trash, and I don't like how long it takes Alice to realize he's not the guy for her. Like, her fiance is very condescending, he's very dismissive to her, and frankly, he's like red flag city, and she stays with him, and he is just terrible. Like, he goes behind her back, and he's basically trying to sell her father's antique business that she's in love with, that she does not want to sell. She's already turned down offers multiple times. So basically her fiance goes and he brokers up a deal that will make her a multimillionaire without even telling her. And then he finds a lease. Then he finds a lease for another store that's like down the street. And he's like, yeah, we can compromise and here's your other store and you'll be like, he does all this behind her back without her knowing. And he's basically using the fact that he knows the owner of this store, who's his fiance, as leverage to the guy that he wants to sell to, because he's like boasting his ego. He's like, oh yeah, I can get her to sell because she's my fiance. She'll do whatever I tell her to. Like, what? Red flag city. I did not like this guy, and I did not like Alice with him and how she just kind of bent to his will a lot and just kind of went with it, because self-worth is a big deal and she was just not showing it. So she was really frustrating, and so I cannot give it the full marks because she drove me crazy. Matt and Alice. Basically, Alice ends up going to the wrong Mitchum's house. She goes to Matt's instead. They run into each other at the airport, and she like fits in perfectly. They're having such a good time, and they're just kind of falling in love, and you're seeing it. And I really like the chemistry between the two of them, and just how you kind of watch them fall in love. Like, I think it's a really good Christmas movie about love, and you actually feel it through the screen as you're like watching them do it, and you're like, oh my goodness, I love this. But the thing, too, I like about this movie is I kind of feel like this is a very romantic Hallmark movie. Like, it has some side stories. For instance, Matt's grandpa, one of his stories is that he remembers the exact moment, the time that he met his wife, Matt's grandma, 8:42. Like, he remembers the moment he met her, and that's like a big thing, and they have an ornament that shows that exact time. And so that kind of comes up later in the movie as Matt remembers the exact time that he met Alice, which is so sweet, 11:58. And so he gets her watch, and the watch just happens to stop at 11:58. And then at the end of the movie, all the clocks go off, 11:58. And I just think it's really romantic, and you kind of just feel the love. So I think they did really good with the romance. I'm here for all of it, and I just kind of like the romantic stories because those are really, like, it was getting my heart soaring a little bit, and I was feeling the emotions even though I'm just watching the movie. So yeah, if you have not seen this movie, you should watch it. I definitely think it's funny. It cracked me up a lot in this movie, and I just kind of like the feel-good romantic movies, and this one you kind of get to watch love. And so yeah, I like this one. I give it 4 or a slay. But yeah, let me know what you think if you watch this movie. This has been another episode of Real Talk